Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you subscribe, follow all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed live on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. We also encourage that you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. You want us to continue to cover the latest information that is happening within South Texas, Cameron County politics? We'll gladly do so. We are sticking our neck out for you. All I ask in return is something very simple. Make sure you follow all of our social media platforms. Why, you may ask? Well, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, make sure you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube to tune in. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that y'all provide us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Tuesday. I hope each and every one of you are enjoying this weather, getting acclimated to the climate. It is going to be, it's forecasted to be cold for the next week or so. In South Texas, we don't get this too often, so when it comes, take advantage of it. Yesterday here at the office, I asked somebody, "Hey, do you like the cold weather?" And they said, "No, I like the heat." I looked at her and I was like, "What, really?" Me, myself, I'm already a grumpy person. With the heat, I'm even more grumpier. I love gloomy days. I love cold days. I love days where you just want to cuddle and snuggle and make babies. To me, that's an ideal day for myself. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 weeks away from the start of early voting. I promise you, from here till then, from here till March the 3rd, every story is going to be a banger. I think I'm only going to rest on Friday because I think I'm going to designate Fridays for BISD. There's a lot of information that has been coming in. My sole focus as of right now has been throughout these different elections, very important races, county treasurer, precinct 2 for the county, congressional district 34, the county judge race, and for today's program, the 107th District Court. So Monday to Thursday, we're going to cover the races that are out there. Fridays, we're going to focus on BISD because I have to give in to my team, to those people that feed me information. I know it's important. Don't think that I don't realize the severity of the information. And these people, they want that information to be disseminated because BISD does not give you this information. So on Fridays, I guess it's going to be designated as our BISD days, unless something happens, breaking news, breaking stories, which, with politics right around the corner of early voting, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to focus on the 107th District Court. Many people criticize us and they say, "Oh, well, what do you get paid for what you talk about? Do you get paid to smear candidates?" No. we welcome new viewers and we appreciate those individuals that have been watching us for some time. Again, the purpose of our program is to ask questions. We don't get paid. We don't get asked to smear candidates. At the end of the day, what other social media platform out there or is there that holds the elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable? I would dare say we're the only one. Why is this important? Because these individuals are ultimately asking for the most sacred thing that we as citizens of this great country have. We have so much power, ladies and gentlemen, with our vote. And I hope you don't take that lightly. Whenever somebody comes and asks for your vote, what are the basic things that you should ask for? What do you do? What's your profession? What's your work experience like? What's your personal experience like? How has that shaped you for the position in which you are running today? I've been criticized for trying to smear Steve Guerra's campaign. No, I'm just simply asking questions. Don't you think it's weird how Steve Guerra and Eric Garza, they're laying very low. We really don't know their platform, their goals, their visions, their 10-year, how do you see Cameron County in 10 years? We don't know. And am I crossing the line? I think I'm just asking simple questions. It's like whenever your daughter, they ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. And I know this is a crazy analogy, but whenever they come and ask for your daughter's hand, I come to ask for permission to marry your daughter. Sí, llévatela. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Quieres mi llave? ¿Quieres mi dinero? Ten la casa, ten el coche, ten todo. Llévatela. No, they ask you who you are, your family, what's your background, what are your intentions with my daughter, what's your goals, what's your vision, what's your 10, 15, 20-year plan for a family with my daughter? How are you going to provide for her and her offspring? Right? In whose mind do you go? Does the yerno come to your house and ask for your daughter's hand, and you don't ask these questions? And if you ask these questions, the yerno gets offended. Me? I mean, to respond to you, to answer these questions? Really? No. Just say yes, and we'll figure it out later. No. Let's figure it out now. Why are you worthy of my daughter's hand in marriage? Same thing with voting, ladies and gentlemen. These people want your vote, but do you know anything about them? Do you know their goals, their plans, their role, their expectations for you? Or simply should we just vote for them just because of who they are or just because of their last name? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's the way I think. For today's program, ladies and gentlemen, we want to focus on the 107th Judicial District Court. And the reason that we want to focus on this particular candidate is because there's a lot of baggage. Again, we chase stories. We talk about these candidates and we put them under a microscope. Frankie, why aren't you talking about Noé Garza? Frankie, why aren't you talking about Chuy Garcia? What can I say about them? Now, no candidate is perfect. No party is perfect. They all have their flaws. They all have their imperfections. But at the end of the day, we have to measure each candidate independently, review them, and say, is this the best qualified individual for this role? To be honest with you, what can I say about Chuy Garcia? That he's helped people fix tickets? What can I say about Noé Garza? That he was an attorney in a civil case, and his client won, the house, the property, and took everything from the spouse. But when we talk about Erin Hernandez Garcia, there's a lot of baggage there. And my job is to present you the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you decide to do with that, it's up to you. There's still people that are going to criticize and say, oh, well, I'm still voting for whoever I want. By all means. But if a candidate has been previously accused of corruption, mail fraud, voter fraud, of questionable rulings while she was on the bench previously. If you're okay with that, there's nothing I could tell you. So for today's program, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk and ask the question, how would Erin Hernandez Garcia be a judge on the 107th Judicial District Court? And that is how we will start today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville. But first, a word from our sponsors.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that...
Ching technology. There we go.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer, so together we can build a better future.
Whenever we talk about a judge, ultimately that individual has a very important role within society. Ultimately, what these individuals do is they shape the community's safety. They are in charge of very important races. They are in charge of very important cases. When we talk about a state district judge, those individuals hear murder cases, robbery, theft, adoptions, civil matters, divorce hearings. These individuals ultimately are what are going to either keep the community safe or they're going to be soft on crime. Whenever we talk about the role that a judge has before us, we have to realize and ask these important questions, because at the end of the day, these positions, ladies and gentlemen, they don't open up often. I like to think of them as, and maybe I'm off here, I like to think of them as a Supreme Court judge or a federal judge. The federal judges here in the Southern District of Texas, it's rare whenever they retire or get off the bench. Those individuals, they serve for decades. When we talk about the 107th District Court in particular, Benjamin Uresti, he has served his community of Cameron County for at least 2 decades, possibly more. Nobody ever challenged him. He was a fair judge. He was liked by his colleagues. So for the position of the 107th District Court to open up is a very big deal. Because usually the way it works is whoever wins this position is going to sit on that bench for a while. Unless personal things happen, medical emergencies happen, unless they turn into an Abel Limas, then maybe that will give cause for attorneys, for the community to say, enough's enough. Judges have been in the news as of late. Gloria Rincones gave shock probation to a woman that pled guilty for her role in the death of a 4-year-old child at a daycare. Many people were questioning, how could the judge let somebody who pled guilty to the death of a child, how could she let her go? Now, many people allude to the fact that that was a humanitarian issue. The woman was pregnant in the later cycle of, she was close to giving birth. Frankie, TDC, they have a women's clinic. She would have gotten all the prenatal care, all the attention. this was a favor that was done. When we talk about Ricky Trujillo, who pled guilty to having a teacher-student relationship, many people consider his sentencing of 8 years deferred adjudication with 180 days of county jail to be a slap on the hand. Many people argue, well, she was 19. The teacher had sex with a student in classroom during school hours. And not only that, but if you followed our program back in April, May, we told you that this wasn't Trujillo's first time. We go back 10 years where there was another victim that said, we had sexual intercourse at least 10 times when I was a student of his. I thought that he was going to be my partner, my boyfriend, my husband down the road. Now, maybe the judge did not have that other victim. Maybe that victim that we directed to the district attorney's office didn't go through because of the embarrassment and having to open up that wound again and having to relive that traumatic experience possibly. So maybe the judge, Adolfo Cordova, just had this one victim. She was 19 years old, maybe she was of age. But as a parent, imagine you send your daughter to school for her to get groomed. It doesn't matter whether she's 18, 19, 20, 21, and a person of authority, a teacher, has sex with her during school on campus, and the judge just gives that defendant 8 years deferred probation. Now, again, my job isn't to criticize the judges. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I will never challenge a judge. I will never challenge a district attorney. And again, working in the court system, I had the privilege of working for a judge. My respects to attorneys, my respects to judges. I think very highly of them. Living in, working in that role, in that profession, it's a dog-eat-dog world, doggy. You're on tilt. You're on your tippy toes, head on a swivel. You have to love that environment because that's what it is. That's just reality. So I am not here to throw shade either at judges, attorneys, or our district attorney. By no means. My hat's off to them. I have nothing but respect for their positions. At the end of the day, those individuals, they're like doctors. Well, they do have a doctoral degree, a JD, right? They have a doctoral degree, even though we don't call them doctors, but they're considered doctors of the law. But we go to them with our problems and we say, please fix me. Please help me in my divorce case. Please help me in my criminal matter. So my respects to them. My job is just to present information, ladies and gentlemen. That is all. And I wanted to ask you the question, how would Erin Hernandez Garcia be as a judge, as a state district court judge out of the 107th District Court, where someone such as Abel Limas has tainted that seat? And if you've been following our program as of late, we posed a question. Is Cameron County for sale? We have very interesting characters on this screen. We have Abel Gomez, a constable for Precinct 2. We have candidate for county judge, Steve Guerra. We have a former justice of the peace, Erin Hernandez Garcia, who is running currently for the 107th District Court. And Eric Garza, the former district clerk / sheriff, now a candidate for county judge. And we posted this question, ladies and gentlemen, because we have been presented information that leads us to ask the important question. Is Cameron County for sale? We talked about how previously, how Abel Gomez was caught using taxpayer money buying ammunition for a rifle used for hunting, for personal use, Eric Garza, then the sheriff, his deputies, his sheriff's officers, they found that. They started an investigation. Abel Gomez, career should have been over. He should have been charged either with theft, with misappropriation of funds. Again, the Fajita bandit. Why did that investigation go away? Because we have strong evidence to suggest that Steve Guerra played a role in having Eric Garza drop the charges or mess up the investigation to where the district attorney said, I can't charge this. You know, we could charge a ham sandwich, but this case that you brought before me, it just doesn't work. Is Cameron County for sale? Also, we have talked about previously about Abel Gomez being the middle person between an underworld operative by the name of Mercado, that he and his family or his friends would get favorable rulings in the court of Erin Hernandez Garcia during her time as Justice of the Peace. Why is that important? Well, we have people that have claimed that, hey, I paid so much money, I deserve for the court to rule in my favor. Whoa, what do you mean? And this isn't something that I'm making up. Again, the blogs have posted it. And again, people are very critical of the blogs, right? They say, oh, you're basing your information on the blogs? Really? What the blogs and people like Juan Montoya have, the role they have played in Brownsville, Cameron County politics is one of utmost importance, because Juan Montoya does investigative journalism, something that the city of Brownsville does not have. And his page, his blog, his platform serves as history for us nerds who follow politics and maybe want to get an insight into what was politics like back in 2012 when Erin Hernandez Garcia was the Justice of the Peace. And during our investigations, we have seen how Juan Montoya has alluded to the fact that Erin Hernandez Garcia name has been brought up in case fixing bribes. There was a story that we have covered previously that a man in open court said, hey, I paid X amount of dollars to the judge's staff and I didn't get the favorable ruling. This was done in open court. Erin Hernandez Garcia at that time, if she had nothing to hide, if she did not know about this, what she should have done is she should have stopped the court proceedings. She should have called law enforcement, either the district attorney, Abel Gomez, who was in charge of the courthouse back then, or possibly still is, and said, look, this man is making a claim that this court is for sale, that we accepted a bribe of his, and we ruled against him, and now he's mad. Investigate. Did Erin Hernandez Garcia do this? We hope she did. We hope she reported it. But according to information, that was not the case. Who else have we learned that is for sale in Cameron County? Abel Limas. He was accused of accepting somewhere between, or that they could prove, $250,000, $200,000. So, how would Erin Hernandez Garcia be as a judge? Well, let's talk about it. This individual ultimately wants your vote to be the next judge of a very powerful position. And what has been her experience either on the bench or as an attorney? Let's dive into it. Whenever we talk about her time as a judge, it seems as if it's a power trip with Erin Hernandez Garcia. And again, we're not even talking about the voter fraud that we're going to be talking about very soon. Her family, Abel Gomez and Erin Hernandez Garcia's family, Erin Hernandez Garcia as an individual, and Abel Gomez, his name has always been brought up whenever there is allegations of voter fraud. Solis, the name Solis, which you're going to be hearing a lot in the very near future, was arrested for voter fraud, who worked the campaigns of Hernandez Garcia, who worked the campaigns of Abel Gomez. And now these people are linked. Abel Gomez is now pushing for you to vote for, or encouraging you to vote for, Steve Guerra and Erin Hernandez Garcia. Why? Because these individuals, they want Cameron County to be for sale. They want to control the dynamics of politics. We think that Lady Liberty has that she's blinded, that she doesn't see whether you're rich or poor, black or white. We like to think that Lady Justice is based on facts, based on merit, right? Well, history in Cameron County politics has not been so kind to us. Because if you have money, if you have connections, you get your way. That's just the way it goes. So again, is Cameron County for sale? Do we want people such as Abel Gomez, Steve Guerra, Erin Hernandez Garcia, and Eric Garza to be in charge of very important cases? Whenever we talk about Erin Hernandez Garcia's time as JP, we scratch our heads a lot because, again, I just told you about someone making an allegation in open court while Erin Hernandez Garcia was on the bench that she ruled against him after he paid her staff for a favorable ruling. Also, we have here an attorney saying that Erin Hernandez Garcia blocked his staff from obtaining a copy of a petition. What? Isn't this public record? Now, did this individual not go through the proper channels? Did she say, hey, did she call and say, I need a copy of this, please give it to me? I don't know. Usually the way it works is these attorneys, they send their staff to records to get information because they're going to join a case. They want to know more information. They want to prepare better. But Erin Hernandez Garcia, for whatever reason, and look, I don't know the reason why, but I think there is some sort of animosity, some sort of beef between this attorney and the Hernandez family. Why? I don't know. But this has been for a while now. So Erin Hernandez Garcia directed her staff not to release any information regarding a certain case that was in her court. Now, why would a judge do that? Why would a judge feel so empowered, so compelled to deny information to be given, public information? This isn't a case that was sealed, to my understanding. This isn't a case that is not privy to be looked at. Remember, if you have any concerns regarding any civil or criminal matter, you could go to the district clerk's office, you could go to the county clerk, you could go to records and obtain that document unless the case is sealed. I had an expunction, it was sealed. I had a criminal case, it was sealed. That you can't touch. But any other matter, any other case out there, to my understanding, you are able to obtain it. So why did Erin Hernandez Garcia direct her staff not to give an attorney information, a copy of the petition, a copy of a court filing in regards to a case? I have not spoken to this attorney in regards to this, but again, I hate to assume, but what I think happened was she just doesn't like the person. And she said, no, you're not going to get it. Really? A judge is preventing an attorney from obtaining legal documents that anyone could receive? Is that who you want to be on the bench? Is she going to be on her high horse? Is she going to be on her power trip and say, I'm the judge, you can't obtain this information? Really? Wow. Interesting. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but, here we have, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, we have Noe Garza. Noe Garza, in his quest to be to sit on the bench of the 107th District Court, is running on the platform of 39 years of experience. And many people say or ask me, Frankie, don't you think experience matters? And I say, yes, of course, with the exception of the county treasurer. The county treasurer says, oh, I have 20 years, experience matters. What do you need to know about being a county treasurer? Many people are throwing shade at Jonathan Gracia and saying, "Oh, he's not going to be a full-time treasurer, and this guy's going to be a full-time treasurer." And David Bencourt has 20 years of experience. David Bencourt does not show up to work, ladies and gentlemen. How can you say that he's a full-time treasurer? He's not. You're saying that 20 years experience is good? It's a treasurer position. They sign checks. David Bencourt is running on the platform of eliminating taxes, lowering taxes. Have your taxes gone down, ladies and gentlemen? In any way, shape, or form, either house or county or property or I don't know, have they gone down? No. Frankie, does experience matter? Yes, experience matters. Not for the county treasurer position, because, and then they say, oh, Jonathan won't know how to figure out. Jonathan's a litigator. He's a problem solver. This guy went to Chapel Hill, went to UT. You don't think he's got the brains and the willpower and the know-how of how to figure things out? I'm not just blowing smoke, but the guy's a genius, a nerd. The guy's a problem solver. He'll figure it out. So again, Noe Garza is running on the platform of experience, 9 years. Does experience matter to you, whoever you're going to vote for? I say yes, with the exception of the county treasurer. Because why? The county treasurer, you don't need experience. An attorney that's right up here that solves problems will figure it out. And he will excel. And he won't stay on that position for 20 years. I could dare say that. I'll go on a limb here. I'll take the plank and say he's not going to hold on to a position for 20 years. He's going to fix the office and move on. Noe Garza is running the platform of 39 years of experience, 4 decades of working civil, criminal, federal cases. I think it's fair to say that someone such as Noe Garza has seen it all. Now, what do you want as a judge? Do you want somebody that is knowledgeable, that has been through and back and knows everything? Ms. Gaspar Garcia, it is my understanding that this wasn't a personal matter, wasn't a family matter. This was Alma Coronado, according to the attorney, requesting for a copy was 2014 GTH 1, Alma Coronado versus Brownsville Towing. And again, are there civil cases that are sealed? Yes. There are some sort of cases, maybe for politicians, for prominent people, that things are just too, maybe medical conditions, the kids are going through drugs and they don't want that information to get out. Do civil cases get sealed? Yes. As a layperson, I would dare say yes. But Sandy Gaspar Garza, this case in which the attorney was requesting information was not a family matter. Perhaps she's correct in not sharing that information. We're going to talk to you about information that she did expose, Gaspar Garza, that she did talk about, that makes her look even worse. But again, when the time is right, we will talk about that. But Alma Garza, this wasn't a family law case, according to my understanding, based on this document. This was, I want to say, a dispute with a towing company. So this isn't a private matter where, oh no, this is a family matter, Mr. Attorney. You can't touch it. You can't get those documents. No, ma'am. This was, I would dare say, an ordinary case. Your typical, civil matter. That is the difference, Gaspar Garza. Now, going back to experience. Does experience matter? I would dare say for a state district judge, yes, 1000% it matters. Erin Hernandez Garcia, during her time as Justice of the Peace, was doing something, how do I say this, that she had no authority to do. What did she do, Frankie? You see, the way it works is whenever individuals, well, Moreno, let's talk about it. Again, Erin Hernandez Garcia has been accused of voter fraud. She has been accused of accepting bribes. Now, she was accused of doing something while she was a judge that she had no authority to do. Many people criticize JPs and say, oh, you need to be an attorney because attorneys know the law and you're handling civil matters and forfeitures and small claims court, and the best suited for is an attorney to be a JP. Well, during her time as a JP, Erin Hernandez Garcia was doing something that she had no power to do. She was waiving the 72-hour application to get married. The way it works is whenever you apply for a marriage license, you have to wait 72 hours. If you want to bypass those 72 hours, you have to have a legitimate reason. Maybe it's a medical reason. Maybe you're in the military, you're leaving in a few days, and you want to get this done as soon as possible. Well, the only individual, and again, I say this as a layperson, correct me if I'm wrong, to the attorneys and people, to people watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only ones that have the authority to bypass this 72-hour waiver is a state district judge. And from my understanding, a state district judge is the only one that could hear the couple and decide whether that merits them not waiting the 72 hours to get married. You see, bring me down. You see, the JP is right here and a state district judge is up here. The JP down here has no authority to waive the 72-hour waiver to get married. The only one that does is a state district judge. I don't make the law, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just telling you what I know as a layperson. So, what was Erin Hernandez Garcia doing as a JP? She was doing something that she's not authorized to. She was waiving the waiver. She was charging them. She was charging them for this waiver, and then she was charging them to marry them. Are you serious? Really? Really? It got so bad, ladies and gentlemen, that she was sued in federal court because of the 72-hour waiver by another couple. And my understanding was that this waiver came into question in regards to this couple's immigration status. That somebody caught this and said, hey, this isn't right. So, how will Erin Hernandez Garcia be as a state district judge? Is she going to do things that she's not authorized to do? And again, you base someone, you base someone based on their history. on their experience, what they have done. So, how would Erin Hernandez Garcia be as a judge? Is she going to do things that she's not allowed to do? And again, there was an investigation in regards to this. And I could go on and on about her and Abel Gomez giving favorable rulings to an operative of the underworld known as Mercado, where, you guessed it, the FBI was looking into this case. But not only that, it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. It gets worse. Now, again, people bash on the blogs. I love the blogs because, now again, do the blogs get everything right? Does Frankie Olivo, is Frankie perfect? Does he bat 1,000 every time? No, we're human. Maybe things get lost in the translation, but I would dare say that in someone such as Juan Montoya's platform, I think he's anywhere from 75 to 85% accurate. As the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. How would Erin Hernandez Garcia be as a judge of the 107th District Court when she was previously accused of running favors for cash court? I'm not saying this. This is what has been out there, ladies and gentlemen. But the purpose of today's program was to talk about a very interesting matter in which a judge awarded close to $2 million in a defamation case that involved testimony, exhibits that reveal that Erin Hernandez Garcia had a hand in defaming somebody. Again, whenever people criticize me, oh, I'm going to sue you, or oh, I'm going to do this, do it. We are so convinced and we stand behind our reporting that we have evidence to provide. If for whatever reason somebody wants to sue us, we'll countersue because we have the victims, we have the facts, we have receipts. I'm very careful about what I say. I try my best to say it the way it is because I know attorneys will use this against me in litigation. I'm very careful with that. And me, I'm a layman. No legal background, no legal experience. But here, this story that we're about to talk about involves an attorney, Erin Hernandez Garcia, who was behind a defamation case of $2 million. Let's talk about it. It goes, a visiting judge has awarded Brownsville attorney Sorolla $1.8 million in damages following a bench trial when he found that Dora Guzman and Ruby Moreno, Cameron County Magistrate Court Administrator and Clerk and Brownsville resident, were liable for defamation, libel, slander, and aiding and abetting business disparagement, emotional distress, torturous interference with business relationships, and civil conspiracy. Prior to the trial, Guzman and Moreno appealed his pretrial ruling to the 13th Court of Appeals. The case revolved around a video released on the eve of the 2020 elections where Sorolla was a candidate for the Cameron County 404th District Court. The court found that defendants Guzman and Moreno had maliciously and with reckless disregard for the truth accused Sorolla of committing crimes of sexual harassment even after a Cameron County human resource investigation and a panel of district judges had exonerated him. The woman's complaints to HR and the judges panel accused him of harassment, of abuse of official capacity, retaliation, hostile work environment. The judges issued a private reprimand for Sorolla's inappropriate use of the F word towards the two women. Now, although now current magistrate Erin Hernandez Garcia, we're defending the case. Depositions and text messages entered into evidence in the case indicate that Erin Hernandez Garcia had a direct hand in pressuring Guzman and Moreno to make the tape and produce it and distribute it right before early voting. At one point in her deposition, Guzman said that they had provided copies of their complaints. Where am I? Complaints filed with HR and the judges panel to film crew and arrange it for production and oversee the editing of this tape. She also testified under oath that Erin Hernandez Garcia had advised her to get rid of text messages between her and Guzman, going as far as telling her to lose her phone and text messages. Garcia, Erin Hernandez Garcia, was Guzman and Moreno's immediate supervisor judge. Are you serious? We have a judge telling somebody to get rid of the evidence? Really? Isn't that a crime within itself? Wow. Can you imagine that? Erin Hernandez Garcia, during her time as a magistrate judge, she directed somebody to get rid of the phone, get rid of the text messages. We need no trace. What's that crime? Isn't that crime destruction of governmental property? I know it's that whenever you do like a forgery or fraud or something like that, but what's the proper use of it? It doesn't come to mind. But here we have testimony that Erin Hernandez Garcia advised her to get rid of the text message, delete what you have, get rid of your phone, get rid of evidence. It continues. Guzman's deposition indicates that starting in October of 19, when Erin Hernandez Garcia became magistrate and Sorolla had been appointed the associated judge, their boss, Erin Hernandez Garcia, began to pressure them to talk and urging them to make the tape that eventually became the recording. Mr. Rick wants to talk to you. And I go, who's Rick? He would like to talk to you girls, Guzman said in her deposition. Maybe a couple of days after, she came back and said that he really wanted to talk to us, that he wanted to find out what had happened at the court and maybe help us with our story, to know more about him, how he treated us, and so on and so forth. The women said that Erin Hernandez Garcia's constant pressure over 2 or 3 months eventually led them to agree to meet in January of 2020, and agreed to make the tape, assuring them that their actions were protected by the First Amendment. Can you imagine that? Not only was she telling them to get rid of evidence, she was telling them, don't worry, nothing's going to happen to you. Your First Amendment right is protected. Talk about bad legal counseling, counselor Hernandez Garcia. Guzman also swore, stating in her testimony that Erin Hernandez Garcia said they would help them in case there were any legal action brought against them. I have friends in Mexico, some reporters that can help you so that you can tell your story and put it out there. And he would get them to come, and that he could get the locations and he could get the people set up and video us. Over the course of the next few weeks, the woman said that the friends reported to production, including Aldrete, at one time filmed 2 videos, one in Spanish, one in English. Complaints had filed with HR, the district judges panel, which both exonerated Sorolla and were told that they would be shown the finished product before they were aired. Guzman said that he seemed pleased with their performance, although they said that they had not been shown the finished interview before they were posted. Texts submitted into evidence show that they told Erin Hernandez Garcia, that she will tell the women that they had done a great job and it would take very little editing to get them ready for distribution. Please let her know, Guzman, that the reporters were very impressed with her. The text messages between Magistrate Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia and Guzman indicate that Garcia's mother, Norma Hernandez, would help distribute the HR and judge panel documents to the Brownsville Herald, and also reached out to local blogger Erasmo Castro. Who's that? And when Sorolla filed her lawsuit against Guzman and Moreno, Guzman said she was sure that both Erin Hernandez Garcia would be there for them. Well, that turned out to be bad legal advice, both women later asserted. The women were not told their house insurance could provide able legal assistance at no cost to them. Well, that's what they told us, you know. You can't get in trouble, you know. And if you feel like you're getting in trouble, we attorneys, me, Erin Hernandez Garcia, is going to be there for you. We'll take care of you guys. We're here for you guys. Don't worry about it. Guzman said that they referred her and Moreno to a local attorney, Mike Saucy, to defend them, but that he seemed to lose interest when they couldn't pay him the $5,000 they each wanted to charge. She said in her sworn deposition that Saucy grew visibly agitated when she brought up the name Erin Hernandez Garcia. And he got upset because I brought up their names. He goes, "You haven't even met with them. How do you have proof?" And so on and so on. I do have the proof. I have all the text messages. And he just didn't want to mention the name of Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia at all. And I told him, and he got mad. And after he withdrew from being my attorney. And when we approached her to tell her, she just said, you know, we told her, "Can you help us?" She made it very crystal clear that he's tied up with, he can't be tied to any of this. Question, and wanted you to take full responsibility for it? Exactly. Imagine that. Erin Hernandez Garcia is now leaving this woman on her own. Exactly, because that's what they were. At the end of the day, that's what they wanted. They betrayed us. Who? Erin Hernandez Garcia. They betrayed our trust. During the trial, the judge asked Moreno directly in court who had put them up to making the video. She answered unequivocally that it was Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia. When Guzman told Erin Hernandez Garcia that she still had the text messages that showed how they orchestrated the interview to defame Sorolla, she said Garcia advised her to get rid of the phone, get rid of the evidence. Isn't that a crime, counselor? Actually, she told me to get rid of the phone. What did she say? Get rid of the phone. I said, I can't. And when did she tell you to do that? I think when you were asking for discovery and interrogatories and all that stuff. Just get rid of the phone. I can't do that. And then she goes on, get rid of the phone. I'll throw mine away and I'll say, just say you lost it. I can't do that. I do believe that because everything started from Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia approaching us, that he wanted to speak to us in regards to what happened with Mr. Sorolla, and they wanted us to do video. That's the root of where everything started. Just when you thought that Cameron County Judiciary has erased and discarded its sullied past, the evidence produced in this case show that at least two of its members still carry over some of its worst habits. How would the average citizen fare before these two? Wow. So here you have Magistrate Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia telling somebody that she put up to get rid of the evidence. Wow. And she was a position of authority. She was a magistrate court judge. I ask you, my people, how would Erin Hernandez Garcia be as a judge for Cameron County? Is politics for sale? Is Cameron County for sale? Because Erin Hernandez Garcia, her people do not want us to talk about this. Why? Because there are a lot of question marks in regards to her past, in regards to her time as an attorney, in regards to her past as a justice of the peace, in regards to her past, in regards to the magistrate court. It does not look good. So I ask you, Cameron County, do you want somebody that is going to be this way, that is going to act this way? A family that's been accused of voter fraud along with Abel Gomez? A family, an individual that did not want to give public documents to an attorney because of a personal vendetta? That they were accused of running a cash for court for cash favors? Who does that remind us of? Abel Limas. During her time as a JP, she had no authority to waive the 72 hours. And she was charging them. And people criticize random Joes running for JP and say, oh, you need a law degree to understand this. Here we had an attorney. Here we had Erin Hernandez Garcia, who supposed to know the law, had no authority and was breaking the law herself. Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. But this individual wants your vote to be your next state district judge. Make it make sense. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe we'll come on Monday through Friday religiously. All we ask of our community is something very simple. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, my people. I hope to see you here tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a late start. I'm going to be busy during the morning, but I promise to come on live around 11 a.m., 11:30 in that window. Once again, thank you so much for your time and your attention, my people. Hope you have a great day. Stay warm. God bless. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace. Hmm.